Hey guys, and welcome back to Mikey the Macaw and Friends.
Hi!
So, yes, Mikey flew away for 17 hours. Wow, that wasn't fun. He actually flew 3 different locations before we could actually retrieve him. How crazy is that? I just thought I'd give you guys a brief run through on exactly how those 17 hours went for us and for him, and basically just show you his little mission all around Wimbledon. Now, we don't actually have a lot of footage for this, just based on when you lose your bird, or I'm not too sure if anyone's lost their pets or their children, but the last thing you really think about doing is filming it. So we took a couple of very short clips just so we could send them to people who were helping us out, giving us tips on how to bring them down. So let's get to it. I basically took him out just for a walk. No, we were not free flying. This wasn't a free flying accident of any sort. He was on a harness. Now, it was my fault, but the harness was very, very, very old. On its last legs. This guy in a high-vis jacket on his motorbike drove past very, very fast. Now, I'm not sure if Mikey was scared and decided to fly, or if he was excited and wanted to chase him. But he literally bolted, harness snapped just like that. Now, the first path he went was kind of towards the bike, then around, and then he landed in this very big tree. When he was in this tree, I was standing under it being like, oh dear, please, please come down. Like, we haven't really done a lot of descent flight training as such. I mean, off door frames, etc., but never 15 meters in a tree. So, he hung out there for a while. There was a couple of crows that came and said hi to him. I called Claire at this point and I'm like, hey, bird's up a tree. She starts breaking down in tears, as you do obviously. After about half an hour of him being up there, this is about 7 o'clock at night, it was getting dark soon, he decides to try and make his way down, attempts to fly, but obviously can't get the descent because he's inexperienced, and does a couple of loops and flies off. So here we are, running around the streets of Wimbledon trying to find him. We're looking at maybe around 8 o'clock at night, the sun's about to set, and we hear him squawking and squawking, so we're calling basically running around the streets following the squawk. We found him on a Buddhist temple, like on the roof of one. Now, this was a place where you can't really kind of just jump on roofs where you want, you have to be quite respectful. Claire went and got a ladder, so the moment we actually pulled the ladder onto the roof to try and get him from this spot, he freaked out and then flew again. Now, at this point it's getting close to 9 o'clock and it's very, very, very dark, which is good and bad. Birds don't fly at night, which is amazing, so we're like, he can't have gone that far. Great! So we literally had to go home. Now, we can barely sleep. We're absolutely worried sick. The forecast for rain was gonna start at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the sun wasn't rising until 6:13, I believe. So our alarms are set at 5:30 in the morning. We're literally on the streets, walking all around, driving all around, screaming, Mikey! 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 At 6 a.m. all around Wimbledon. I can imagine there were some really, really angry neighbors at this point, but hey, we had to get him back. It took an hour of lapping the entire place over and over and over again until we heard him. And we were like, yes! And then we saw where he was, and he was in this massive, massive big tree. Now, the most inconvenient thing about this tree is that it was in a block of houses. Imagine a block, houses in the front, houses in the back, houses on each side. We couldn't get to the tree. Now, this is around 8 o'clock in the morning, so we get out of Google Maps and we start finding ways. You know, we're circling the tree, we're like, hey, we have to get here, we have to get here, we have to get here. So we firstly knocked on this guy's door, and there was like a little outhouse at the back of his backyard, which backed onto the tree. So we're like, great, I can climb this massive tree and we can get him down, it'd be amazing. That didn't really work out too well, as the guy answered the door and he's like, mate, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, come back at 11. We just had to wait, and we were calling him, and he was looking at us, and he was talking, and he was chilled. It comes to be 11 o'clock. So we get into this house, and we're in the backyard, and we're like, Mikey, come down, Mikey. And he's just kind of sitting there, and he's looking around, and he's trying to get down. And then luckily, the lovely, lovely lady next door to this house, she's like, come into my house. So we actually ended up going to the house next door, and the lady was so, so lovely. She let us in. She had 2 kids. They were so keen to get Mikey back, and we're like, this is amazing. They'd seen us walking around with him. She's already started making flyers saying, hey, there's a big macaw in my backyard. We're there, waving around a banana, and Mikey is obviously starving. He's been in this tree since like 9 o'clock last night. It rained half the night. He's exhausted. He's trying to get down. He's climbing and then climbing back up and then climbing down, but he just couldn't find a way to do it. Luckily enough, he is a very, very smart bird, so he climbed to the very, very top of it. Now, we did wish we actually did capture this on film because it was absolutely epic to see. He realized he couldn't just descend straight down onto us, so he flew down and then did a couple of really, really cool loops and then landed on a roof next door. So after that, he scoped out his area, he did a run across right until he can get as close as he could to us, and then flew straight to me, and that was such a happy moment. Oh, we literally couldn't have been happier at this point. His eyes were pinning. He was so excited to be back with us, and it was such a cool thing. And we took him home, and he was so tired and so appreciative. You could just see it in the way he was. The cuddles afterwards that we got, I've never had cuddles that great. He literally just snuggled up to me, and he was so happy to be home, which was great. So from now on, I guess, you know, we're gonna double check those harnesses before we do take him out. Massive cheers to Caleb, who is Marley and Kai's dad from Adventures of Marley and Kai. Absolutely beautiful birds. He was back and forth with me on chat, telling me what to do, how to handle the situation. Thank you for this, buddy. Hey, we're in the process of getting him to free fly. He learnt a lot today. He can now come down from a tree, which is amazing. Who knows, next time you guys tune in, he could actually be free flying. Yay! Well, cheers for tuning in. Any questions, pop them below. I'll be more than happy to answer.